Now that I'm with him, time has ceased, and I can sing the Beauty and the Beast. Adapted by Jane Gerard, illustrated by Burgundy Nile. Yes. There once was a rich man who had 6 children, 3 daughters and 3 sons. After a lifetime of good luck, the man suddenly fell upon hard times. His house burned down, his ship sank at sea, and his business partner ran off with all his money. He and his children were forced to move into a small cottage in the country, where they lived on food that they raised themselves. His 2 oldest daughters were unhappy with this change, but the youngest, named Beauty, or rather Belle, tried to make their new life as comfortable as possible. One day the man heard one of his ships had sailed from the harbor. He decided to go to the port to see for himself, even though it was a long ride. His children asked her father to bring back expensive persons for them, but Beauty asked only for her father's safe return. Isn't there anything I can bring you, Beauty? Asked her father. If you see one, I would like to have a rose, she said, for Beauty missed the beautiful gardens of their old home. Beauty's father reached the port safely, only to find that his ship had been robbed, and that he was now poorer than before. Making his way back home through thick forest, the unlucky man was lost in a terrible storm. Suddenly, up ahead, he saw a row of flowery trees, and at the same time, he felt warm air on his face. The father stumbled upon an enchanted castle. He explored the gardens where no snow had fallen, and then went inside. Even though no one would answer the door, he found a cheerful little room with a table of fresh food waiting for him. He ate hungrily and then fell asleep in front of the fire. The next morning there was still no sign of anyone, so the man got ready to leave. On his way through the garden, he picked up a rose for Beauty. Suddenly an awful beast appeared, as if by magic. Is that you? How you thank me? I feed and shelter you, and then steal from me? Said the beast. The man begged for his life, explained that the rose was for one of his daughters. The beast said that he would not kill the man, but would accept one of his daughters instead. He promised to treat her kindly if she would come to live with him. The man returned home and told his children what had happened. All 6 agreed that since Beauty's rose had started the trouble, she must be the one to go. The very next day she rode away to the bravely with her father. Again they found no one in the enchanted castle, and again supper was on the table, but this time the beast disappeared as they finished eating. The Beauty was frightened by the beast's terrible face. Excuse me. But he spoke to her gently, asking if he would save the father's life. He Beauty told the beast she would stay, so her father left her there, although it broke his heart, and she made the beast's castle her home. Beauty had her own big room with mirrors for walls and a clock that woke her by calling out her name. Beauty, Beauty, Beauty. And strange enough, there are no frogs. No Monsieur Rodin. But, oh well, she spent her days alone, exploring the wonders of Enchanted Castle. Every night she sat down to dinner with the beast. He was quite fierce-looking, but his voice was quiet and gentle, and he always spoke kindly to Beauty. Soon she was no longer afraid of him, and found herself growing more and more fond of him. In fact, Beauty came forward to quiet evenings together. After dinner, they would walk through the beautiful gardens and talk of many things. No matter what they spoke of, the beast would ask Beauty the same question every night. Am I very ugly? He asked her. Yes, Yes, you are, she would always answer, but I like you anyway. Then will you marry me? He would ask. Oh, please do not ask me this question, she would say to the beast. Beauty was happy in the magical castle, and she had grown very fond of the beast, but she missed her own home, her brothers and sisters, and her loving father. If you want, last person wasn't a jerk-ass. One night in the king garden, she asked the beast to let her go home for a visit. He made her promise to come back in 2 months. 2 months, and whole months, and gave her two magical trunks to fill with presents for family. No matter how much she packed, the trunks were never full. Then the beast gave her a ring and a large jewel in it, and told her it would take her home and then bring her back. All she had to do was turn it on her finger, and she would be home the next day. The next morning, Beauty woke to the sound of her father's voice. She was home in her own bed. Her family was very happy to see her. Her father's luck had finally returned. His family he was rich once more. As the weeks passed, Beauty missed the Beast's castle where she had been so happy, but most of all she missed the Beast himself. She spent hours thinking of her long talks at dinner time, and she finally remembered their evening strolls through the garden. Beauty found that she was growing restless among her family, but she was not. She was afraid to tell them that she wanted to leave. She did not want to break her father's heart again. One night, she pulled the magic ring on her finger and looked into the jewel. And there she saw the beast lying in his garden. He seemed to be dying. Beast her Beauty turned the ring on her finger and was magically returned to the enchanted garden. Suddenly, by the side of the beast. He was so weak he could not speak. She lifted his head, and he opened his eyes to look at her one last time. Oh, please do not die, cried Beauty. I never knew it before, but I love you. At Beauty's words, there was a sudden flash of light, and the beast leaped up. Beauty saw that her ugly friend had changed into a handsome prince. Beauty's love had freed the prince from a terrible spell. Since the two really loved each other, they were married and lived happily ever after in the enchanted castle. And the old man died. The end.